So definitely during the boot camp, make sure you get to know your classmates. During boot camp, remember to utilize outside resources. I completely forgot. And I think I don't remember what week it was, but that's when I had my aha moment where I was like, oh yeah, GA doesn't give you everything just because you're paying thousands of dollars. Go utilize your outside resources. Whatever you're probably looking at before the boot camp, it's still gonna be good. You know, I used Codecademy, I used Free Code Camp, I used Google, Stack Overflow. I mean, they always tell us to use Stack Overflow, but I guess because I wasn't building a lot of projects outside, it's just people just. It's hard to find the answer. You don't even read. Like I learned to stop reading. Like I read enough just to like make sure this is what my thing is. Like my question is, and then I skip straight to answers. And then you really gotta. Luckily they have that upvoting thing, so usually the first two answers. But sometimes you have to read through. But the resources that you utilize before the boot camp are probably the same resources you need to utilize on top of other ones that you need to utilize during. Like, don't forget those things exist. Those things ended up saving me a lot, you know? And when you Google, a lot of those things will come up anyways. So, I had to adjust. But another recommendation would be before the boot camp, create a LinkedIn, get your GitHub together. Well, or at least create your own, you know. They're going to make you do one in class anyways. Your LinkedIn, it's going to be part of the outcomes class. And my resume, I already had because I used to work in career services in grad school. So I'm pretty good with making resumes and things like that. And I'd already kind of Googled it. But do yourself a favor. Start your LinkedIn, start adding your friends, former classmates, things like that. Start building your online presence before and during the boot camp. Just because those are things that are going to be required of you anyways. You're going to need a resume once you're done. You're going to need a LinkedIn. I mean, that's how most of these people communicate. That's how a lot of recruiters reach out. That's how some of you guys have found me, is through LinkedIn. So make sure you start working on those things before. Like I said, there's a lot of time, like some of my classmates didn't have a LinkedIn or had never made a resume because they're young or just, I don't know, other reasons. Help yourself. Go ahead and make those things. So like for me, I already had a resume. I've always had a link. Well, I haven't always had a LinkedIn, but I've had a LinkedIn since maybe like 2013. I've had a LinkedIn for a very long time, or I mean, it might not even be 2013. The whole point is I've had one forever. I have 500 plus connections because of it. So it looks like I know a lot of people. I mean, I don't know if I know all those people, but I have a history of an online presence on LinkedIn. My resume was already done. So when we did the resume thing, like I tweaked it a little bit and you have to submit it for review, but that's just one less thing that you have to do during the boot camp, because there is a time where so for the jobs related class, you will have assignments, but those assignments are like, hey, put your resume together. Hey, informational interviews. Hey, these things. So you will have assignments for outcomes on top of labs and projects. And guess what? We still have outcomes during project week. So you think you're only working on your project, you still got to go to your outcomes class, and they're still giving you stuff to do and things to prep. So help yourself by trying to get your resume together before you start. Creating your LinkedIn profile. Help yourself. It'll save you time in class. It's just few things you don't have to do. You just put a little bit more tweaks. You Google ATS resumes. And design resumes. So they wanted us to do two. I mean, I just kept one. I started doing a design one. It was taking too long. I'm really not that creative, so I just let it go. I was just like, y'all just gonna get this resume. I figured once the bootcamp is over, I would have more free time if I really wanted to make a design resume. But I'm applying for a lot of jobs. So, I needed something to go through the ATS system, which ATS is the applicant tracking system. So they teach us like ways to beat that. So help yourself by getting those materials together before you start the boot camp. And I can give you some resources if you email me on like things to look at and stuff like that. But do your GitHub or create if you can. Start pushing projects or learning about GitHub. Yeah, that's another thing. Learn GitHub. I never used it. So I have a bunch of just ugly projects. Like instead of using and learning GitHub, I was like, every time I wanted to do a project, I'm the queen of, I'm too afraid to touch something. I don't want to break it. So I have so many iterations of anti-Wahala just hiding on my computer because instead of, I was like, I don't want to change this because if I change it, I might forget. Instead of using GitHub and pushing my project to GitHub, I would just do the whole project again. So I have like 20 anti-Wahala blog beginnings. They all look different and they're all hiding on my computer. I don't even remember which one is which. And like, I had to name them so many different names because of that. So yeah, learn GitHub. Learn GitHub. It'll save you. It'll help you. And now if you have to go back, there's ways to reverse back in GitHub. So that whole project could have just been sitting on GitHub this whole time. That definitely helps. And if you can learn, or if you want some resources on how to start learning, that will help you a lot because I was struggling with GitHub at the very beginning of this program and during. It wasn't until the end that I really started picking it up. But help yourself. Like, help yourself by learning GitHub. Definitely learn GitHub before and during and after. Now I'm the GitHub queen. Y'all can't tell me nothing. But before, and I tried. I have some random like tests that I pushed to GitHub, but back in the day before I started the bootcamp, but I don't remember what I did. And honestly, I'm gonna private them. So yeah. So that's it for me. Those are my before and during. And as I can grow in my career, I'll probably definitely, once I start working, I'm definitely going to probably do another or part 2 of before and during coding bootcamp, because then I'll have more like work experience and I'll be able to tell you guys like, yeah, I should have learned this, or yeah, I should have spent more time on this, or yeah, things like that. So once I start working, there'll probably be a part 2 to this. But yeah, that's it for me. I think those are some pretty helpful things, and I think they're thoughtful, and I hope that kind of helps you on your journey if you decide to do a coding bootcamp. If not, you can still use some of these tools, and you can still use some of these tools for yourself, like with the resume, with the LinkedIn, like things like that. Those are things you don't need to go to a bootcamp to do, So if you need help or have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, controlaltdenise. Build projects. I read that. I saw that. So many YouTube videos. Everybody's like, build projects, build projects, build projects. I told y'all, I didn't even remember that I learned React or I had started learning React. Okay. Why? Because I hadn't built a project. Didn't bother. Of course it went away. You have to build projects to remember these things. And it might be stupid. Like, girl, I said, girl, y'all might be boys, men, women, people. I built a background flipper in Java. What was it? You click the button and it changes colors. Okay. I can't remember it because I just did a tutorial, but I'll never forget doing that. I remember how to do it, right? So build projects throughout before. Don't do it during. I mean, if you want to add to your projects after the fact, like through class, but you don't really have time to be doing stupid little projects during boot camp. No offense to the projects. They're not stupid little, but you have other things to do. So you're not going to maybe have as much free time unless maybe on the weekends to add to a project that you're building, unless you want to build it on the side as you go along. That would be a good idea too, is if you have the time to build something for yourself. So you have 2 things or multiple things on GitHub, if you don't have a GitHub experience, but build projects. I saw it so many times and didn't believe them, but now that I'm going back and seeing my React notes and knowing I didn't build any projects, it's no wonder that I don't remember learning React because I never utilized it. I didn't build a project with it. I didn't do anything with it. So build projects for sure. Before the bootcamp, practice building projects because you're going to be building or making a lot of projects throughout the bootcamp. So if you can, don't let it be the first time you're making a project or building an application is during project week, because some of us struggled and some of us is me. This is me. So that's it from me. I hope some of these tips were helpful. If you have any other video suggestions, let me know. Destiny, I saw your suggestion. Shout out to you. So I'll definitely be either adding that or incorporating a video in the future with that. But if you have anything you guys want to know, feel free to ask me in the comments below. Feel free to email me, message me. I'm more than happy to talk about it. If you want a video about something, I'll definitely make it. I can make whatever I want. I've always been able to make whatever I want, but now I have a little bit more control because it's not so much boot camp week 1, week 2, week 3. So yeah, so I hope this was insightful. I hope this was helpful. As always, please, continue to watch, and I hope, you're staying strong on your journey. And I'll see you in my next video. Have a good one.